Peace, everyone. Peace. It's your girl, Fari X. I know it's been a while and everybody's been waiting. I mean, I've been getting messages for the past maybe hour or so. Like, when are you going live? What's going on? What's happening? Well, I'm live right now. I do apologize for the wait. We were just having some technical difficulties over here, but we got it all together. So I've been gone, as y'all know, for about 6 months now, 5, 6 months. And as you see, I have a whole new a whole new brand going on. It's called The Build. There's no more The Scoop of REX. Is now The Build. And basically now what I'm going to be doing is the same thing I was doing before. That's why I put the name The Build on. I'm going to be building with other people in our community, the Black community that is, and we will be continuously dropping knowledge back to back. Hopefully on Wednesdays and Saturdays again, and any other day between. And I feel like going live. But today I have brother Rob Warren on the show, and this show today is about, because as you know, this is quote unquote Black History Month, right? So Black history should not just be a month, and we already spoke about this before. We all know Black history is something that should be going on daily, because it is daily, because we are history, we are the present, and we are the future, and that's just what it is. So today is about why the 5% Nation has made such an impact on Black history and Black present, the future, right now, the present and the future. So with Rob Warren today, we're gonna, break that down. We're gonna build on the 5% Nation. We're gonna get into, how long he's been a part of the 5% Nation. We're gonna speak on the things. Just basically, he's I'm gonna let him talk more about it, okay? Because I do a lot of talking. I know y'all probably do miss hearing me talk. Y'all probably miss all that, but today I ain't gonna do much talking. I'm gonna let Rob Warren do some talking for y'all. So welcome to the show, Rob Bourne. What's up, brother?
Peace, peace, sis, peace, peace.
Peace,
How are
peace.
you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm glad to finally have you on the show. I wish everyone could see your face. And like we were saying, we're gonna bring you back on next week so that we can actually get you, everyone can see you talking. And, you know, right now they're looking at your picture and it's not fair to people that actually want to see you. So, but how you been? What's been going on with you?
Nothing, man. Just observing, building, adding on.
Building.
Um, you know, trying to carry on traditions of Black History Month by showing Black excellence and our fight and what we did for our freedom.
Right,
That's
right,
all.
right, right. Right, right. So let me ask you, I want to start off with this. How long have you been a part of the Nation of God's Nerves? When did you come
95.
into 95? 95. That's a minute. That's a minute. So what brought you to the point of, knowledge of self? What made you start, digging deeper and getting into all of that?
Well, I was 15 years old, a little troubled youth, and
Mm-hmm.
my individual, well, same age as me, we just started talking. And he's like, "Do you know about, you ever heard of Elijah Muhammad?" This, and then, just conversation just kept, and then it got to the conversation of God.
Right,
And
right.
when we got to that, I was like, "What do you mean there's no God?" And he's like,
Mm,
"Well, when it's time to eat, how do you get your food? Time to do these specific things and how you take care of yourself, what do you do?" And I was like, "When does this God ever come?" I was like,
mm,
makes sense. And then he introduced me into the math, and it was just like a constant conversation. And then we started talking about history, and then I was fascinated that this kid is the same age as me, and he's telling me about how far the planets are away, and I'm like, what the hell? What the hell you know? How do you know this? And then I started getting into it, and that's what happened. Because
right,
I really
right,
liked
right.
it. He started about Black history and who you are, and just the controlling part aspect of it, about everything that you need. That is something I needed to hear at that time.
Mm-hmm.
That was something I needed to hear, that anything that you want, it comes from within. But he would use like
Right.
the Bible verse, like the major verse he used back then. Psalms 86, having not said that ye are all gods, but children of the Most High. He's like, who do you think they were
Mm-hmm.
talking about? He's talking about you. You don't stay a child forever. Eventually, you got to grow. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay. And that's what did
Mm-hmm.
it for me there.
Right, right, right.
That's
You know
it.
what? You said that's what did it, right?
and there's somebody my age. So then, you kind of, depending on your bring up, you kind of look at your elders, or people that's not that older than you are in your age group, and those are the
Right.
people that really influence you. So by me dealing with them, that influenced me. If that would have came from an older person, I would have never listened. That's I know that I wouldn't about get out of here. You just talking this old people stuff. I don't want to hear
Right.
it. That's just the truth, because it
Right.
came from
Right.
someone that's in my peer group, and I can see, I'm watching him. Like, now I'm watching you. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, oh, he's moving a specific way, he's talking a specific way, and that drew me into it.
And that's why it's so important that we educate the youth, because the youth are the ones who reach out to the other youth who eventually become the adults. You know what I mean? And people don't really understand that. Like you'll see more so people like we were talking about earlier before we actually went live, how there's most people are on like social media and it's like really adults. You know what I mean? Adults arguing with adults. Just going back and forth with adults and stuff like that. But the youth are not even there. They can't even see what's really happening. They don't know what's going on. They don't know what we're talking. We don't. They don't know what we're trying to do. The message that we're trying to deliver to the masses. You know what I mean? So it's really important, and it's a good thing that it got to you at the age of 15, because look at you now, and look how smart you are, how intellectual you are, and the type of knowledge that you spread on a daily basis, especially through NBK. You know what I mean? So I'm happy that you was able to be touched at that age. You know what I mean? And you've been growing since then, clearly.
Yeah, because when you deal with this, there's three different, there's, I would say there's two different things. Like, one is, I was excited because now I see that it's a brotherhood. Now
Right,
this is
right.
an extended family. And then there's specific things that we do. There's a ritual, like you have to know your math, you have to know your alphabet. And then it was like, I can't explain it. I was just excited. I was like, wow, what's this? Oh, now this is the
Mm-hmm,
black
mm-hmm,
man. Oh, the sun, the moon, the star. Okay, all
mm-hmm,
right,
mm-hmm.
I get this. So at the very beginning, it is telling you that the family is the base root of civilization. So if you go into, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, these are the first three things they give you. Knowledge is symbolic to what? The man, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wisdom is symbolic to the moon, the star symbolic to the child. No
Children.
matter what
Right, right,
culture, no matter what culture you look at, wherever you from, wherever, those three are the principles, and
right, right.
everything based around it. If you look in Kemet, you have your divine family. If we look in Voodoo, you'll have that same concept where you'll have Mao Lisa, where the sun is the man and the woman is the moon. And then you'll
Mm-hmm.
always see this correspondence of the black people making us symbolic to elements of the earth, or elements that are here. So why did they make the woman symbolic to the earth? It's not new. They didn't make it up. You see
Right.
that there. You see it in Igbo. They call her Allah.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, and it's the mother goddess, because the giving principle, the nurturing principle. So, and it's weird, as I learn more, I'm like, wait, I thought this just came from here, but I see that this is a tradition that goes way back. So now that
Right.
as I advance and learn more, I can see that the dynamic of those three principles, foundation of everything. If that is
Mm-hmm.
broken, then you can't move forward as a nation. And
Correct.
everything that comes after that, you know, having your culture, right, your way of life, your freedom, all of those things add up to that. Will bring that
Mm-hmm.
a cohesive in a cohesive way. So that's how I looked at it.
Mm-hmm. Great perspective of it all. So, my as you know, today's show is about, the impact that 5% has had on, Black history, all in all. What is your what's your outtake on that? on this whole topic right here.
Well, it's kind of going to go into the history of it because it's
Mm-hmm.
connected. It's connected to uh, other organizations and it's connected to a bunch of things. So you'll see like there's a continuation. So we know that the founder, whose proper name is Allah, comes the 13th, actually was once a part of the Nation of Islam. He was once advanced fruit of Islam. And by knowing just that aspect of what they did or what that position was, will word. They can't make a mistake. They can't slip. They can't do any of that. So from that perspective, he developed a perspective, and his perspective was looking at things the way that he saw it, and he saw himself in it, and he saw that he wanted to reach the youth, and he saw that he wanted to put that message in a different way. So he had to leave so that he can do his mission. And from leaving is where we get to see this great, I would call it a great revelation. There's no mystery God. There
Mm-hmm.
is none. Because knowing that those rituals that were in the temple were never supposed to be given to people. It was only supposed to be for the members of the Nation of Islam. That never was supposed to be prostrated outside. He did something completely different with that. He brought it to the youth and he made it simple so that they see it. So that right there of a thinking person, of a person who can take something, think for themselves, and then bring forth his idea into reality is what brings us to your question. So what is the impact they had? What did they do? So I'm gonna show something real quick. I'm gonna open this. I hope this works. So don't
Okay.
fail me now, computer. All right.
You getting ready to share something?
Yeah, I hope that it could share it.
Okay, let me.
Is it sharing?
Not yet. No share yet.
Still not. Hello, you can hear me?
Yes, I hear you. Waiting on your share.
You can see the screen.
Say what?
It's not sharing.
No,
It's
let me
not
see.
sharing. It says
No,
sharing this tab to Streamline. That's what it says.
no. Let me
Oh, there
see.
it
All right,
is.
here we go. There we go. There we go. Ready to go. All right.
And then it
All
goes
right.
off again. It keeps going on and
Here
off.
it is.
Okay. So this is a book that's called The Unforgivable City. So what I'm gonna do is put it in the perspective of the history of the civil rights movement. So in New York City, we had and the mayor was Mayor Lindsay, and what they did was they had to make a task force, and this task force. Let me get here. Hold on. This task force was called the Urban Action Task Force. So Mayor Lindsay put a person in charge, and his name was Gothero or Gothrio, Barry Gothero. He also has a book and the founder of 5%ers, for those saying it that way, who was a law had a close connection with this individual. After the death of Martin Luther King, and prior to that, there were constant riots all through the whole New York City. So this is prior and after. What the father did, he stopped these specific and the people to tell them to don't destroy the community. So in turn, as I read here, as this guy is the head of the Earth Task Force, they grew extremely close to the five percenters, called them a group of black militants led by Clarence the 13th X. Smith, known as a law. This tells you where he was born, etc. Now, this is the purpose of these task force. So the purpose of the urban task force was riot prevention. Barry Gardner decided to bypass middle-class blacks and concentrate on military groups like the Five Percenters and the Harlem Mau Mau's. So Mau Mau's are another thing, and that is dealing with another individual, Kenyatta 37X. Gandara felt that during a riot, he could count on the laws of Harlem to help cool the situation. While more respectable blacks were not to be around. So I want to make this clear about what these people are seeing. These are the people that are in the street. These are the people that are directly working with the youth, the ones who got thrown away. These are the people who are there. And this man, Allah, was that man. So it says they also got his administration was saying that they were just giving money to these specific groups, and they was just giving them money and they was doing whatever. So this is what the bottom is saying, because this specific group in the history at this time had a lot of things attached to it. So here it says the Lindsay administrator also created the neighborhood improvement program. SNP budgeted $8 million. In 1968, worked quietly behind the scenes to funnel money into the city's ghettos to keep the peace during the tense summer. So what is going on in New York? What is happening? You have people not getting jobs. You have police violence. You have all of these specific things that is happening at a rapid rate. And in the middle of this, you have the person named Allah. So in history, our father dealing with this civil rights movement, he is dead. So hold on. You can hear me still?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go out of this and then I'm gonna share this thing here. And then I'm gonna dig in more to your question as far as where we at today and its importance in Black history. So I'm sharing this again. Hold on, give me a second. Where'd it go? Newspaper. Did you see it?
Let me see. Nope, it's not up yet.
I'm just gonna share my entire screen because this thing is acting crazy.
All right.
So I'm gonna put this here, and I'm gonna go here. Boom, boom. We up?
Yeah, hold on, let me put you on now. All right.
Okay. So with the support of the mayor in the city during these they in these 60s hours and all these things going on, things are happening in the community, and this is one thing that takes place. So the papers, the government, and local government have a problem with these new people called the Five Percenters, and this is what they had to say. It says the New York executive director of New York Anti-Poverty Program under fire for alleged mismanagement of so-called public funds. Livingston Wingate, director of the Harriet Act program, said a group called the Five Percenters was armed and ready to move in Negro areas throughout the city. They are prepared to die, he said. They say either there is a change or will make Watts look like a tea party. So you read this again. It says they are prepared to die, he said. They say either there is a change or we will make Watts look like the Tea Party. Wingate told the National Urban League's Eastern Regional Conference on poverty here the references was to the riots in last August and the Wash in the Watts section to Los Angeles. Right? So
Mm-hmm.
here it'll say the five percenters are led by a man who calls himself Allah, the Arabic word for God. He is more generally known as Clarence Puddin Smith and has been in jail since late May. Right? And that is dealing with a specific story that happens in front of the Teresa Hotel. And an argument ensues, and he is incarcerated. Later on, they begin to put him in a place called Mattawan, and they say he's crazy because he says he's God. So this is a concept that you'll see throughout all of Black history when they get these specific leaders that have this religious overtone. They'll say they're crazy, but he's not crazy.
Mm-hmm.
The mayor didn't think he was crazy. Okay, he says his teenage followers are blamed. This is what they try to say for numerous muggings, firebombings, and several other acts of violence. They're believed to have been involved in at least one homicide. So this was something that happened with a Jew. So I put this here to say that these you will have Black people that will say that works in this non-nationalist way to say specific things, and they'll mix the truth with falsehood. However, in front of all the newspapers, you have these individuals here. So, what makes this even important to history, and why is this even important? Because these individuals and what he did with this urban task force, because of his work, he was given a school. And this school is on 22nd Street in Harlem. And that is what you call the street academy. So there were numerous, it's like a movement of these street academies, and it's a different form of education. And what was happening, they were put into Brooklyn, they were in the Bronx, these street academies were everywhere. And the father tapped into that. So that school was to help with GED, education, trade, etc. So he was given this school because of his work with a 99-year lease. So that's kind of unheard of. So you have a century lease. So they
Mm-hmm.
give him this school, and from this school becomes the base of what you call the five percenters. Why do they have a big impact on the youth? It is because of the message. The message is only specifically to really deal with the youth. And the message was teach the youth, the babies are the truth, the baby are the future. That's the truth. Anything else other
Mm-hmm.
than that, we can't move forward. So the youth that was taught, those would actually be the teachers. Those were the babies, and they were actually out there teaching. They're building things in the Bronx. They're building things through the city. They're going all over
Mm-hmm.
the place on the whole entire East Coast. Now, something else happens because the youth represents a culture, and that culture is hip hop. And
Mm-hmm.
through that music, if you look at the poor righteous teachers, you look at Brand Nubian, you look at even the Busta Rhymes, and you look at Tribe Called Quest. There is no rap group in that culture that has not been affected by that. But what does that have to do with where we at? And what did it do? What it did was these lessons that we teach as far as who you are, how you should look at a woman, etc., are put in this music. This music captivated the whole entire world. And then you'll
Mm-hmm.
start with Rakim, etc. And that is a big impact because our children are a lot of us. They are audio learners. They're into the culture. They're
Mm-hmm.
into the music, and music is a thing of an African. The rhythm, the poetry, those words, they become griots. And those griots
Mm-hmm.
are telling a story. And that story affected these people. And it actually changed a lot of their lives. And they tell their story that way. So when that happens, and a bunch of things can spring from that point. But yeah,
Right,
I
right,
hope I
right, right.
into that.
Mm. So that leads to my follow-up question. Since you done answered the main question, right? The 5% nation today, how do you say right now today the 5% nation is a major part of history right now?
Right now, one is
Right
the
now.
imprint. One is the imprint of the music. That's when I
Hmm.
told you.
That's
One
what you were
is
just speaking about.
one is the imprint on their programs that they continue to build, and one is
Hmm.
their emphasis on the youth. So when we look at this, right, this happened, I believe, what was this, last year? So I'm gonna put this up sign.
Guys,
Hold on, give me 1 second. I just want to make sure I share this. Hold
some people would say it's older.
man, just this.
We have quite a few comments too. Uh, to you.
You got asked, ask away.
All right. So, all right. Let's start with. All right. 1 second. A lot of people are, I knowledge born. See you, knowledge born. Let me see, New African. That's good. All right, all right. Are you able to see the screen right now?
Your screen?
Yeah.
Hold on, I just stopped. I was about to share something, but go ahead. I
All
can
right. I'm
see
showing you
you.
some of
You
these.
made it bigger.
Yeah, I'm showing you
Oh,
some of these comments. Yeah.
oh, that's New African
Right.
on deck. Let's
Yeah.
go
All
on.
right. Then you got knowledge born here. Let me see. See the knowledge. You got
Fantiwa,
yeah.
pieces.
All right. Let's see. Yeah, yeah, I'm hip. I'm hip. I'm hip. That's why he on here right now. All right, didn't realize. Oh, okay, all right. So I'm pretty sure you know what this is about now, William. Let me know if you don't know. All right. Peace.
Hebrews Hood.
Nikki Santro. All right. Peace to the production of your show is great. However, some of the brothers' build is inaccurate. The 5% doesn't teach anything. The goddess principle. The moon is the black female child, not the black woman. Barry Gothard was a devil who lied about the father. Man saying a lie, often in the narration. Black girls having sex. Leah Lindsay was just as weak as. All right, feedback.
Um, said the 5% doesn't teach anything of a goddess principle. I don't understand that because I spoke about knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and I said the man is the sun symbolic to the woman symbolic to the moon, and the children symbolic to the stars. I then pointed to our greater African culture where they have that principle in it. And that
Mm-hmm.
principle, which I showed, was Mal, Lisa, and Mal. Those that same exact concept. And yes, in Africa, they were called goddesses, but the remains the same. As far as what Mayor Lindsay did and what Godbody wrote in his book, he wrote a couple of things in that book. There's some things that deals with celebrating Christmas. There's some couple of other things in there. But what we're doing is we're talking about the history.
Right.
And we're talking about the history is the father worked with Mayor Lindsay. The history is that he got a school there for the works he did to help in riot prevention. And the works that he did from that forth brought us to today and
Right.
where we at. So that's the truth in that aspect. So when I was speaking about the goddess principle, this is something that comes from West Africa before we got here. This is a lot of our culture. And again, when you deal with voodoo, Mao is the sun, Lisa is the moon. Do we not say that? Yes, we do. There are
Yes.
most of our people in Igbo and Igbo. That's a misnomer, but I'll just say Igbo because that consists of 12 tribes, did do they not have a principle where the woman is symbolic to the earth? Yes, but they call her a goddess. What I'm doing is showing the continuation of an actual culture and principles that are here in America to show that it's not something that's just made up here. And that's what that is. So the objective here is just to speak about the history and
The
what actually
history.
happened. So you asked something and I lost track. So let me see. Can I share this? So I'm gonna share this again, and this happened. And how did you do that? Oh, I haven't been on this computer, man. That's
Nikki
weird.
son, Nikki. He wasn't saying the 5% is subscribed to voodoo. That's not what he was saying. He didn't say that. This is.
Am I speaking clear? Do the people understand?
Yeah, I heard what you said. I heard what you said. But that's not what he was saying at all.
So you can see my screen here. Just going into the history of the people. All right, you put that up there.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm about to put it up now. Right? There we go.
So when you ask me a question about the importance today, here and
Today.
right,
Right.
about here and right now. So you can see
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yes.
Okay, so here you'll see that the street was named Five Percenters, a Law and Justice Square. All right. So this is the Amsterdam News. This is a black newspaper. And you'll see peace was a word spoken throughout the afternoon at the intersection of 126th Street and Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard. April 6th, the sacred place Dr. Leonard Jeffries called it was codenamed Five Percenters, a Law, Justice, and Square, sharing the corner with Reverend Powell and James Brown. So if we know who Leonard Jeffries is, this is one of our scholars that taught in City College and was a part of a big controversy there that dealt with teaching with black history or African history. So you have to ask yourself, why in this day of 2019 are these black scholars here to commemorate this day? So let's keep moving. Peace and equality was among the words echoed by Manhattan Borough President Gail Brewer as she paid tribute to the Five Percenters and what they had done to make Harlem a better community. And we look forward to that legacy for years to come. She said, Sis Darwad, an aide of the former mayor, John Lindsay, recounted that the day Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated, April 4th, 1968, a law called the Five Percenters and walked Lindsay down 125th Street. We saw flames in Newark and across the country. But in NYC, especially Harlem, there was peace. And it was in a great part to Allah and the Five Percenters who sat next to the mayor that made it happen. And for that, we will always be thankful. From Assemblyman Keith Wright noted that the code naming was a marker of where we've been and where we need to go. It gives us history and direction, he said. It's here today, and let's make sure it's here to stay. Father Sana Pragata Rasul Rafiq recalled the conversation he had with the barber. I asked him, what would he like to see happen in the days ahead? And he said, I want to see you bring a nation to this place. You have the lineage to build a nation, so don't do anything stupid. Put your mind to building that nation. When Righteous Teacher Dr. Jeffries addressed the crowd, he was back in the classroom recounting the giants who had walked the Harlem streets, including his mentors, Dr. John Henry Clark, Dr. Yosef Ben Janakinen. His lessons were just what the visiting City College students sought. We're responsible for the future here. We have to lay it out for them. Throughout the day, they have soaked the bounds of empowering Harlem history being shared. The students are currently studying about Malcolm X and were pleased to learn that the father served as security for him at the Nation of Islam Mosque number 7. Meanwhile, a return of speakers continued on the makeshift stage. Queen Cypher noted, this nation wouldn't be what it is without us Earths. Our duty as mothers of civilization is to teach the children. Our father's mantra was, when you want to see me, all you have to do is come together. Here we are today to show and prove that Allah still lives. And it goes on and on. So when you ask the question of where we are today, in order for you to name a street or to have a street name, the community in that board, you need a certain amount of people to sign this to say that they want to see this. Why would the community still today in 2020 or 2021 or 2019? Because they are still doing the same works. They have computer classes that deal with the kids. They have drug programs that deal with alcoholics. They have some employment plans that do with that. They do clothing drives that just every Saturday. I think the guard do it every Saturday at 3 o'clock. So the objective is, to serve or add on to the cipher. So you have five centers that are in politics. You have them from politics all the way down to your lowest spectrum. Our objective here, though, is just to speak about why this is important today and now. And that's how I see that.
Right, right. Great build on that. So let me see. 1 second. Go back to these comments again. All right. Are you able to see the comments on your end, Rob Bourne?
Where are you looking at this from? From
I'm
YouTube
looking
or
at it.
Facebook?
It's both. It's a mixture of both. You got YouTube and Facebook in these comments. Let me see. Who is this? All right.
Oh,
This is from YouTube.
go here and see. Okay, now I can see it. I pressed the comment thing because I'm not used to being on this thing. Is it fair to say that the overall, the five centers are united but still decentralized as a group?
The group.
I don't know about that because decentralized. Well, I'm gonna say this, right? When you look at every organization from the 60s, the 50s, 70s, they all have splinter groups. You have like four different nations of Islam. You have multiple different Moors, multiple different Hebrews, multiple different politics. But when you come to the nation of gods and earth, that doesn't exist. You don't see the new nation of gods and earth. You don't
Right,
see the
right,
new this. So there's something that happened there and something that we can use as a blueprint because we all speak a Pacific language and we have a Pacific set of principles, but there is no big I, little you. There's no charismatic leader. There's no, in that aspect. And
right,
the people who know who is the best knower of their, those are the ones who teach that. If you have someone who knows about construction or the things of that nature, this is what they do. And that's if you have an earth that is good at dealing with certain forms of business and they want to add on to the cipher, that's what they do. But we have something for that will bring that together, which would be your parliament, right? That's every Sunday, right? Or you can have your Sean
Mm-hmm.
Pool, etc. So I wouldn't say that decentralized, no, because you will never see that. There's no different anything. You'll have people with their own understandings because you have to answer those questions. Regardless of you happen to know them, you have to answer them for yourself. And that's the best
Right,
part.
right, right, right. All right. I mean, I said, yeah, he said, actual fact on Saturdays, that is when everything goes down. 1 second. Okay, what's up? What's up? Peace, 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 God. That's my pops right there, Rob Bourne.
Oh, okay. Peace.
Yeah, let me see. Man, Parliament is once a month, not every Sunday. All right. Is there anyone else up in these comments that wants Rob Bourne to answer any questions for them? Let me see.
Compare the voodoo usage of sun and moon as symbols for man and woman to justify his statement.
Who did that?
Um,
Who did
I
that?
showed um, Nikki Santoro.
Oh, you're reading a
Oh,
comment. All right.
yeah, he said he compared the voodoo usage of sun. I mean, I don't know how
Let me
clear
see.
I
I
can
didn't
speak
see
it.
that. I don't think. I
I
don't
don't
think
know
I saw.
how clear. I don't know how clear I can be. All I did was show the same principles that we
Uh,
utilize in our mathematics is in West Africa, and all I did was bring that up. You don't have to use the word goddess. You, but here is what we do know: we have a code that predates Islam. We have a culture that predates that we were doing there before we got here, and we are looking at the bare principles. And all I was pointing out was that all through Africa, you always see deified the man and the woman. They will call them God or Goddess. If you go to Egypt, if we want to point that out, the thing in their actual creation and their Agdad, you will see the same thing. Amun, Amunet, man,
mm-hmm.
woman. They call them this. All that is principles. That's it. That's all I did. If you don't want to deal with that, that's fine. If you just want to deal with this, that's fine. But you know, this is about dealing with the history, and all I was doing was talking about Black history as far as what we did there and how it's symbolic to what we do now.
That's
Yes, the
exactly what this
parliament.
show is about today. It's about the history and the impact that 5% Nation has had on the history and the present.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and the parliament. Yeah, every last Sunday of the month. By born that build you deal with Garfield on the moors of Lord Bay's dope.
Yeah.
You don't have much understanding on this. Of course I don't, because I'm my own person. Of course I don't have his
Okay, what?
understanding. This guy is mad at me. I don't know if that's a girl
Yeah.
or I don't know why they mad at me.
No, that's not my man. That's not my man. That's not my
No, I
man.
don't know if
That's,
it's a man or
oh,
because it says Nikki. I don't know why
oh,
this person is mad at me. No, I'm
oh.
not gonna have that.
No, okay, so uh I can't really speak for Nikki Santoro. It's a man. He's a man. He's definitely a man. Um that's just Nikki though. Um Nikki, you want to speak up? Why are you so upset with him? It's like you're trying to be combative tonight, and that's not what we're here for. We're not here to be combative. We're here to build and to speak on the history. And like I said, and why and how the 5% Nation is important and has made such an impact on us today. That's what this is about. We're not here to go back and forth and point out this and that and the third of what you don't agree with that he said and so forth. This is your perspective and this is how you feel, on the gods and whatever else you're pointing out, the goddesses fact. I think that's what really ticked them off was when you said something about goddesses. And that's not the first time though. He's actually said things before because he has a serious stance and his foot is really on like to the ground with that goddess word. And that's like that with a lot of gods. They don't like for the earth to be called goddesses, even though you did not call us goddesses. You was speaking on the African culture and their way of life in the past and even now. That's what you were speaking on, and how it actually coincides with the 5% Nation, and but I think he feels like you're trying to say it's one and the same.
That's fine. So you just know. That's
Say
fine.
what?
I said that's fine. I
Yeah,
just
I
don't know
think that's
why
what
he's
he's
mad at me.
that's what he's feeling like you're saying it's one and the same, and I know how he is. I've been knowing Nikki Santoro for some time, and he's really serious when it comes to that word goddesses.
That's fine, man. You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but
Let me see. Hold on. Oh, in the voodoo. He don't like that word voodoo either.
there was a parliament on
Yeah.
Zoom, building and definitely was gods and herbs adding on, which was building and elevating continuously.
Yeah, we understand what you're saying, Rob Warren. We understand. We understand everything you're saying. Let me see. No beef. He said there's no beef though. He said there's no beef. He said there's no beef at all. All right. So now can we get back to the subject at hand? Can we get back to the subject at hand right now? So, again, like I said, this is about, the history of gods and earths and how we've made an impact on, Black history and why we are a major part of Black history and how we've been a major part of Black history and how basically what it is that the fact of the matter is the nation of gods and earths, we're the only ones that will really sit here and tell you that who's the first man and woman on earth? It's a Black man and woman, correct or not? Correct or not?
Right.
Correct. So we are the first and we will be the last here on earth. So we are history, we are the present, and we are the future. And that's just how it is. And that's what it's going to remain to be. Yes, moving forward. All right. Let me see. All Rob born. All right. Correlate the similarities with our supreme mathematics. Correct. Peace, earth. You see what I'm saying? They out here, they listening. They listen and they are understanding what you are delivering in myself. So in any case, Rob Bourne, when will we have you back on the show so we can see your face and we can build more on this subject?
So what? When Kim?
Yes, yes. Are you gonna be back on Wednesday?
Yeah, it seems like you like Wednesdays. Yeah, most definitely we could be on at that
I
point.
already had this conversation with you.
Yeah, 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 yeah. We could definitely do Wednesday, but
Wednesdays.
yeah, and for those who want to add on, the channel my mornings new black knowledge, and on that channel is like 6 of us, and we deal with
Mm-hmm.
the Pacific history of the original man in America,
Right.
and we deal with. This guy want me to beat the one. Oh, this. Uh, we deal with that, and it's very important because the model we have there: start where you stand, start where you at. You start with
Mm-hmm.
you the foundation, and then you work backwards in history and connect those dots. So that's something that we do a lot, and that's something that I do a lot over there. And what is Black History month about? We know it was started by Carter G. Woodson.
Right.
A lot of people. It's weird now that I just thought about this. Like they'll be like, "Oh, they gave us the shortest month. Oh, they disrespecting us," and I'm like, "Okay, Carter G. Woodson picked February because Frederick Douglass is born there, and this Abraham Lincoln thing. This is why he picked the month, but it was actually a
Mm-hmm.
week. And what this month is about is pointing out the excellence in the people, and he used Negro Week to do that and to make a curriculum. And why I'm bringing him up with this subject is because he made pamphlets to deal with the youth so that they could tell them our story as far as where we can go and what we shall do. And this is the same concept of the father for us to teach the youth, to teach the babies. But what are we teaching them? What are you
Right.
teaching them? Are you teaching them how to live the mathematics out and how to add on to this cipher today? And that is what a lot of people are doing. It's just pointing them out there.
Right.
Yes, 365. Facts.
Right. All
Yeah,
year round.
it's 365, but we want to, focus on why they did that. We used to have celebrations around that month. There used to be
Mm.
parades. There used to be a bunch of things going on that's talking about multiple people that play a part in the history. And this right
Mm-hmm.
here, what the sister is doing, this is just like a little ritual. This is one of them. And we're speaking about our organization.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Facts. Facts. We in this live. for those who don't know, about New Black Knowledge, can you just give them a little information about New Black Knowledge?
Uh, New Black Knowledge consists of me, Sister Kaba, my brother Historian, my brother Jahudi,
Mm-hmm.
brother Chris, and brother Sanab. So we like to focus in history on the last 500 years.
Right.
And why we do that is because it's like a missing block when it comes to who you are or who we are and what we did. Everybody will skip it, which is fine, to go to the greatest civilization. You will look at it will have to be Egypt, unless they unearth something that we don't know about. And we go through there. Everybody talks about Israel. Everybody talks about every other place. But when it comes to West Africa, it gets quiet in the room. It becomes
Mm-hmm.
the only thing you hear is Mansa Musa, and then you ask something else nobody knows. So we take the position that people been beating their head, and we want to really talk about what we did prior, pre-colonial, and after, and the ways that we fought for our freedom. And even that story is out of whack. You have people saying the slave trade didn't happen today. We got youth out here saying this, and it's like spreading like wildfire. And those who know are supposed to teach this because that's a part of our Holocaust. And it's not to dwell on it to be a victim, but we fought from the beginning. You know, slave trade began in 1441. And the first thing they did was try to capture us on the coast of Africa in Rio de Oro, and we beat them up. And we ran
Mm-hmm.
the Portuguese out of there. So they
Mm-hmm.
had to figure a different way. They said, okay,
Mm-hmm.
we got to trade with them. And that goes on down the line. And what New Black Knowledge will teach is how we got free. So there's 500 documented revolts on slave ships that's not talked about. So you have the Marlboro, and you have these things and that where we actually taking over ships. And the black woman is one of the major ones a part of this because how they had them on the boat separate from the men, and they would give us messages when to move and what to do, you know. And we
Mm-hmm.
fought from the boat to here, and then that comes up to this time where we get here, and you
Mm-hmm.
dealing with again how we free ourselves, Revolutionary War, all these things, and they're all connected to a form of nationalism, a form of us having a common origin, and a form of us having a common destiny. It is my position that there is nothing higher than these understanding of these teachings. And to me, that's the most profound thing. Once I heard who's that mystery God, there is no mystery God. For the Son of Man has searched
Facts.
for this so-called mystery God for trillions of years and was unable to find that mystery God. So they agree that the only God is the Son of Man and lost no more time for searching for that which does not exist. To me, like, ain't nothing higher than that. There's nothing outside of yourself. The mystery has been taken away. It's gone. Regardless of our ancestors dealing with Pacific aspect, time moves on. And we in that time. And what the importance of this is of Allah's message was you are the creators. If you want something to change, there's no complaining about this. You do it. Simple as that. You don't have time to argue about what you want to call yourself. You don't have time to Asiatic African. You don't have time for none of that. Our babies are dying outside. People are getting shot up. Music has changed. They making
Mm-hmm.
they making songs about like 51 ops. Like yeah. So we have a job, and our job is whenever we use these platforms such as sisters to teach, and that's the importance of it, because you can't kill an idea, and we are representing this specific idea, and it's still here. You know, and to me, that's the importance of it. There ain't nothing higher than that to me. That's where I stand at. I believe
Right.
right now that that's the evolution of all of that.
Yep. We believe the same thing, the same exact thing. And that's why you on here right now. So let me see. So that's a great build. Wisdom. I said I will listen to this whole conversation going on. All right. All right, all right, all right. Yeah, uh, I'm just trying to make sure everyone's comments get seen. The last time I was doing my show, people were upset that I wasn't, putting their comments out there, but it's just so many of them. I just go past them on accident. So yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. And if you have anything that you want to talk about next Wednesday when he's back on the show, make sure you drop those comments in the section right there, and we'll definitely touch on those questions and answer them during our next show. So, but again, thank you so much for coming on, Rob Bourne. Thank you so much. I've been trying to get you on the show for a minute before I even, went off air with the scoop. I was trying to get you on, but things happened. But let me see. Rob Bourne, let me see. Rob Bourne, the
Oh,
more killer.
oh man, yo. Oh man.
Rob Bourne, the more killer. Yeah. All right. Yeah, you do. You be going ham on the Moors.
No, no. Nah, it's like a phase. It's like a little phase you go through.
It's a phase. It's a phase.
Yeah, because I'm just gonna be honest. Before I entered this conscious community in 2000, I never really had these kind of like battles or something. Like I would see
Right.
the Hebrews, I would talk to them, and I'll be like, okay, I understand the Jacob and Esau, but I'm not rocking with your Yahweh. And
Right, right,
I
right,
said,
right.
okay, all right, I can see that. I tell them my position. All right, well, why you believe that? I say this. You say, all right, peace, gone. Or more. Yo, why you wearing that hat, bro? What's up with that hat? And they'll tell me about the hat, the tassel. I'll be like, okay, that's peace. Yo, all right, I know about Nobuju Ali. So what you think about his lessons? And then we'll start talking about it. And then I'll be like, yeah, but it says that Allah, you can't see Allah. I don't believe that. Like, what's up with that? And then we'll build and then keep it moving. And that was it. Only time I came to this, I started like, now it's like, this is World 3. You got to fight.
Man, man, people they get real, they get real personal with it. They be really, really upset when you don't agree with what they believe in. So that's like that with many other, you know, uh, religions and so forth. If you don't agree with what they believe in, it's a problem. They ready to fight and kill and everything. So you can't just build and agree to disagree nowadays. People are real touchy over it all, you know. But that's what
I
the
hope
build is for,
I
huh?
hope I hope I answered your questions good.
You know you did. You know you did. You answered them. You answered them. That's why you was up on here to answer those questions, to get it out there. And we're gonna have a better build next week once you're able to be, people are able to see your face and so forth, so they can actually see, your expressions while you're speaking.
You want to see my expression now?
Look. Anyway, it was great having you on. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Shout out to MBK, shout out to Rob Bourne and everyone that tuned in. CJ, Born Scientific, William Lyde, Wisdom Asase. Did I say that right? I hope so. Nikki Santaro. I don't know how to pronounce this name. Anadette, Andanet, Bruce. Shout out to you. Shout out to everyone in this comment section. Shout out to my daddy for always tuning in, Dre Chapman. Shout out to LL right there for tuning in. Shout out to everyone that tuned in from YouTube, Facebook, and all the other platforms. Shout out to everyone. I do appreciate you all, and I will be back on again probably on Monday and Wednesday. So again, this is the Bill with Fari X. Rob Bourne, do you have any shout outs?
Shout out to MVK. Shout out to all the people that are watching, comments, etc. Support the
Etc.
sister. She going in. Yeah, shout out to the people.
To all the gods and earths, peace. And we will be back.